Tony Blair, the highlight of his first official visit to the country, has been overshadowed by violence between police and Muslim demonstrators. They were protesting about Britain's part in the bombing of Iraq. Police trying to disperse the protesters opened fire using tear gas and stun grenades, wounding at least 3 people. Our Southern Africa correspondent Jeremy Vine reports now from Cape Town. You may find some of the pictures in his report upsetting.
The South African police were ready for the protesters. They threw stun grenades and fired birdshot as soon as they tried to advance. At least 3 people were injured. The protesters want to disrupt the Prime Minister's visit because they're furious about the airstrikes on Iraq. These scenes are extraordinary, not just because Cape Town is known around the world as a tranquil tourist destination, but also because they look so much like the South Africa of old.
This is what they do to children.
Among the injured, a young Muslim boy and a South African journalist. The Prime Minister would not have seen all this because security was tight enough to keep the demonstrators well away from his entourage. He arrived at South Africa's parliament to make a speech chiefly about his political philosophy, the third way, but also to explain the attack on Iraq once again.
I believe that if we hadn't confronted Saddam, when we did, we would only have had to do so at a later stage in circumstances much more dangerous for his neighbours in the rest of the world.
The Prime Minister also spent a lot of time talking about domestic British issues like crime, the health service and education, almost as if he feels after a difficult few weeks he needs to restore his government's sense of purpose, even if that means South Africans having to listen to a very British message. But of course the Prime Minister himself also had to listen to a South African message reflecting a measure of the controversy the airstrikes on Iraq have caused. Anna, back to you.
Jeremy, the demonstrators seem to be quite peaceful. Do you think that there's any feeling over there that the South African police ever reacted a bit?
Anna, I'm not sure I've heard your question. It was cut off by some other sound. But let me just tell you the situation, if you can still hear me here in Cape Town, which is that the city is quiet. It's returned to its normal situation of peace and tranquility, the kind of city that tourists are used to seeing when they come here on holiday. The scenes that you saw in the report have all gone away now. The demonstrators have been cleared off by the police, and things are very quiet indeed. And of course, Mr. Blair himself will be leaving in the next couple of hours.